Thank you so much. Prop trading has exploded across the globe over the past couple of years. And we have here some of the top prop firms in the space who have been doing it, for some time. Because, these days you have prop firms, basically incubating and launching within a year, 2 years. But these names here from the Fivers, IC Funded, FundedNext are truly the firms that have, really cemented their place in the prop trading industry. So today, I have with me, not according to their pictures, but I have Petros, the general manager of IC Funded. I have Nora, the managing director of the Fivers, and Syed, the CEO of FundedNext. Thank you for joining me on this panel. So as you can see, we're going to start talking about, what the growth in the industry is, and then also, how traders who are interested in prop trading can, learn about how to succeed and the trials and tribulations of different types of traders. So in terms of the MENA region, what kind of growth are you seeing, Petros? And what kind of demands are you seeing from the traders in this region?
First of all, good morning, everyone. So nice to be here again with all of you, and I hope you will enjoy the session. So, MENA region has always been a very targeted, let's say, region for both prop and broker side. So, especially in the last few years, we have seen growth on double digits specifically, and right now, with what's happening in the markets in the last few months, let's say, with commodities such as gold having this volatility, this region has always been keen on trading commodities, at least in my opinion. So growth is actually quite faster than it used to be, which is both challenging and excited at the same time. But I would say that generally the GCC is actually constantly on a double-digit growth. And of course, we're looking forward for this in the next few years.
Thank you. Nora, so the Fivers is one of the leading firms in prop trading, and especially in the European region. Have you also seen an explosion in growth in the Middle East and the MENA region? Because I know, it's beginning to make its way through different corners of the world. How have you seen the adoption here in this part of the world?
Well, actually, Kathy, the growth in MENA is organic, to be honest. It started because of the prop firm already provided the way for all the traders just access to the markets. They are looking for capital. So specifically in MENA, there is a strong trading culture. They want to be in the markets. You are talking about strong appetite for financial markets. In addition to that, young, dynamic, and also fast financial hubs. All of these reasons, let's say, pushed all the traders also to check and to look also for the prop firms that they do have stability and structure, and they already in the market for 10 years. And the Fiverr is one of them. So yes, we've seen growth on MENA traders. They're already with us. And also from this stage, I'm also announcing about our plan for another and much bigger expansion for MENA.
Did you just say? By the way, I think her mic is a little low.
I can't hear myself.
Did you just say that on this stage you are going to announce big
We are
expansion
our services in MENA, and I'm announcing this from this stage.
Okay, Syed, you've had an
It doesn't say that we don't have already, but our plans also for a big expansion in MENA.
Fantastic. And Syed, you've had basically a footprint in this region for some time. You have an office in Dubai. Can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of demand from the traders in this region compared to other parts of the world? Yeah.
She's asking you, I think.
Thanks, Kathy. Hello, everyone. My name is Syed. I'm representing FundedNext, as many of you know. So thanks, Kathy. So first of all, what's the response that we're getting from MENA, right? So we are very dedicated across all the regions. In MENA has been always one of our core and special focus. And in the recent years, we have seen a good amount of surge. Now you can ask why. We also try to assess why we are having such surge. And then when we assessed and realized, you just fly into Dubai and you see a different vibe. When you are landing, you're seeing ads of brokerage everywhere. You go into Sheikh Zayed Road and you'll be seeing there are ads out there. So we have realized, like, because of the regulatory acceptance and also because of the emerging populations and people moving from different parts of the world to the UAE and broader MENA region. So that's why I think the adoption and the growth is very good at MENA, and that's the core reason that we are also experiencing growth in MENA.
So you just talked about how the brokerage space and brokerage firms have been here for a very long time. What would you say is the greatest value proposition of prop that makes it truly unique for traders, especially in this part of the world?
It's a very good question, Kathy. So we really have to give a very deep thought to answer it. You see, like, the risk to reward ratio. Let's think about an analogy. If someone has to trade $100,000, they have to invest in $100,000 or $50,000, right? But in terms of the pricing of the prop, the entry barrier is actually low. And even, let's say, with a $500 or $600 package, someone can get a challenge account of 100,000, right? Even if they need to try 5, 6, or 10 times, if you look into the risk to reward ratio of that return, so I think risk to reward ratio, that's the best thing when it comes to this. Yeah.
So there are many prop firms that are kind of propping up every single day or week. What do you think, and I'll start with Petros, what do you think traders should look for in terms of assessing a sustainable firm? Because it's becoming more and more important.
Well, this question is happening on every single panel, and just like new firms come up, this question remains the same, actually. At the end of the day, I think we all agree that traders should be looking for consistency in payouts, right? Especially in the last few months, all the risk departments of the prop trading firms have been tested. Those who were actually solid hold their grounds, in my opinion. So it's all about doing what you said you will do, actually. That's it, right? So people just want to know that when they are trading consistently and they don't break any rule, they will be paid, and they will be paid on time. I would say this will be, and it has always been, number one, regardless if you are a new prop or an existing prop. Obviously, when somebody, like, I'll speak for my current company, obviously, but when you're backed up by a huge broker, right, such as IC Funded, you have some extra privilege of, enjoying the trading conditions of the broker into the prop side, because back to your previous question, right? But again, consistency in payouts, giving to the trader what you said you will give them, and be quite strict with the rules, I would say. That keeps internal compliance in place. And then it's about reputation. So these two, I would say.
Nora, would you like to speak about that? I have a question.
I would like to add something here about sustainability. If I'm going to judge sustainability, I do believe traders have, first of all, to look at the relationship the firm is trying to build. If we are talking about transactional one, focused on a quick win, or focused on building transparency, trust, and long-term collaboration. What we do believe that transparency on how capital is allocated, how traders are supported, and how risk is managed, this is what sustains a firm over time. So if we are talking about sustainability, all of these together should be there just to identify or just to justify or judge the sustainability in a firm. I do believe firms that really invest in traders' development and clear communication with the traders and also focusing on just pushing them and helping them to be much more professional in their mindset. This is how I can say about this prop firm is also sustainable. So
you talk a lot about risk management, which I think is a very important topic in this type of climate because we had so much volatility and firms have been shaken out. At the Fivers, how do you approach risk management? And how do you approach the dynamic ability of the traders to adapt to this high volatility environment? My question is, how internally at the Fivers have you been managing risk in order to adapt to the volatility in the markets?
So for the risk management, generally what we are focusing on is just to, to focus about the responsibility of the capital, first of all. If we can see any kind of behavior or anything for the trader that doesn't really reflect discipline, this is something also, just give us, not only us, I think all the firms, a trigger that there is kind of mishandling for the risk management here. And generally, I do believe just managing capital responsibly and to be disciplined in performance, this is one of the most important things I am looking at, and also the Fivers in general we are looking at.
So this dovetails, Syed, to the question of, prop firms many prop firms are changing their rules. What do you think is the most important rule for traders? Is it the drawdown, the consistency? What do you consider, for a new prop trader, the most important rules for them to adhere to?
The rules?
Yes, for Syed, yeah.
Sorry, it's for him?
Yes.
Okay.
So Kathy, last year alone, we had around 2020-25, so we had more than 150 millions paid out to traders. So from that data, we deeply also try to study what's working, what not, and as a firm, we also try to be very disciplined. Because traders doesn't only need to be disciplined, the firms also need to be disciplined, and we try to study. So I can give you a very good answer to your question. How we have seen the pattern moving is from not focusing on 1, 2, or 3 specific rules, but the trading behavior, the holistic trading behavior is the most important part. The most successful traders, they think end to end. So they're not just thinking about phase 1. They're not just thinking about phase 2 or being funded and getting my payout, but they're thinking end to end full cycle on a long-term basis. And when you're thinking long-term, on each of the phases, you're trying to be very disciplined and you're trying to holistically adapt all the rules that are out there. But most importantly, people are paying close attention to drawdown rule, consistency, the size also matters, the position size also matters. So and the frequency also matters. So good traders are being very selective in their trading, and most often they are using the most simplest of these strategies. So that's the insight that I can share with you.
So Petros, speaking about traders, because we've got the trading festival here, and there's a lot of traders who are just learning about prop. What do you think separates a trader that gets funded from one that keeps struggling with trying to succeed?
That's a very good question. I think it's about being consistent and able to adapt. So a reckless trade can lead you to profits, right? But a reckless trade is considered not consistent for the firms. And firms fund consistency. They don't fund good trades. This is what I believe. So effectively, the ability of a person to remain calm when he's in drawdown, know where to put his stop loss, know when to lock losses, constantly adapt his trading strategy based on sometimes rules might change, that's true, right? And generally being consistent on being adaptive, if that makes sense, I think it's the number one thing because again, companies will fund consistency, not just good trades.
And Nora, what do you think if we take it one step further from the trader that goes from funded to rather instead of one payout but multiple payouts? What are the different skill sets that separates traders that get to multiple payouts?
For the consistent trader payouts, you mean? Well, I do believe that traders who we pay consistently, they are disciplined, they managing their risk, and they are following a process that it keeps keeping them, like going forward. If I'm going to talk about the consistency here, it's about also the mindset of them using the same strategy that already use it on the first place when they earn the funded account. So disciplined risk mindset is also the key for the consistency. And in addition to that, just to deal with this as a business. Like all the consistent traders, they are asset managers running all the trading as a business, as a profession. And this is what keeps them also all the time receiving all of these payouts consistently.
I have a follow-up question for you, which is most of the time when traders starting off, they're in the sim environment. At what point do you see traders are ready for the live environment? What's the difference between sim and live traders for you at the Fivers?
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. So internally, when you analyze the traders, statistically, there is a bigger majority that reaches payout number 1, less people in pay number 2, and way less people from payout number 3 onwards, right? So those who would be in, let's say, worth going into the live environment are the ones who would be treating that account as exactly as if it would have been their account, right? Because sometimes people forget that they're trading money of somebody else. So again, we come to the point of being consistent, being adaptive, and by adaptive, I don't mean that the market changed, so I have to change. Like the market change, I have to change my strategy so I can hit again the same strategy that I had in terms of take profit or take stop loss. So those who will be treating the account as if it was really their account, I think they deserve a place on being fully on live environment.
So Syed, you have 150 million in payouts, am I correct?
In 2025, in last year.
In 2025, which means that you have a lot of successful traders. So, I think that many traders, when they come to this environment, they are confused about how they're in the sim environment and not the live environment. How would you explain this? And how would you explain the transition from a trader from sim to live?
So see, for the firms, it's important to have traders who are really, really proven for the firms to be able to put them from sim to live. It's very rational, it's very logical. So, but for that to happen, the firm also have to give opportunity to as many traders as possible. So that's why it's very important for the journey to be started at a simulated environment. And that's what every single prop firms are doing, right? So at the beginning of the journey, people are starting from simulated funding. And there are different phases, phase 1, phase 2, and then towards the payouts and all. But ultimately, let's say once the traders who are actually being the best of the best, then the firms, based on their own strategies, they also recruit those traders, they interact with them, or many different teams have their own quant teams as well, if you see, in many sophisticated prop firms as well. And in future, so you would be seeing like many move to DMA accounts and let's say live trading account as well. So that's also a very different environment, and that's also something that is a great opportunity for prop firms and traders, I would say, to monetize and scale. So both simulated and live have its own merits, and it's beautiful how it is being designed. And I still believe and feel the evolution is still happening, and 3 years down the line, we are going to have much more beautiful routes to be profitable and scalable for to be much more profitable and scalable. So we are internally doing some tests, and the results are amazing. So I cannot share the much details with you on this floor, but just so very excited. I think you can tell by my excitement.
I can tell by a smile on your face. Nora, in terms of expansion for the Fivers, where do you see the growth opportunity aside from regionally? There are more traders who are interested in crypto prop. There's traders who are interested in futures prop. Some of the firms are already in it. Some of the firms are just beginning to get in it. For the Fivers, where do you see your growth opportunity?
Well, our growth opportunity not only on a specific market, to be honest, when it comes to MENA, because the majority of the traders here in MENA, they do like to trade everywhere, we're going to say, not only cryptos, not only futures. If we're going to talk about specific things, I do believe they're much more interested about futures and also Forex to be part of that. And our plans, since also we are planning to launch the future very soon for the Fivers, part of this take care of also MENA traders. Also, I can't share a lot of information on this stage because it will be a launch for the futures very soon. But generally speaking, we are providing our services for all MENA traders. They are welcome in their native language. أنا بحكي عربي كمان, okay? So they can just come to here and come to the Fivers, and we're going to make sure to provide the best services for them.
I think, Petros, we're getting a lot of teases about the future of new product launches from FundedNext and the Fivers. What about for IC Funded?
Well, it's the beginning of the year, so everybody is preparing. We joined the trend, so we have very recently reinvested some internal capital into the project. So we are aiming to come strong in end of this quarter, beginning of Q2. And some of the plans are quite common, to be honest. You should expect to see different categories of product. Some of the projects are in combination with the broker, and that I can certainly not share it, and it's not relevant to this panel, but we are in the same level with the rest of the guys. And since, as I said, we have heavily invested on the project for 2026, I think we will have quite small but more often updates on the product, to be honest.
So being a part of an established broker, I'm sure everyone on this panel is thinking about the possibility of regulation. And you and I have spoken about this before. Where do you see, how do you see regulation, and how is IC Funded preparing for that?
It's funny that every time we have the same question and the same answer, right? Okay, so I'm going to tell you exactly what I said last time I had this conversation with you. Good firms up to a level should embrace regulation. And it is a sort of a way to have a kind of a cleanup, like distinguish the good from the not so good companies. Of course, there is a very, very big question of having clients' funds under management, which is fundamentally the reason of the regulation, right? And in our case, there are no clients' funds involved. So everybody's waiting on it. Everybody thinks that this is going to be the year. Everybody is getting ready. We are already, in my opinion, way more than compliant. And I think it's going to be good change. Hopefully, they will find a ground that it will be fair, both for traders and the companies, right? So
I think that's a big statement, saying that everyone thinks that this is going to be the year for regulation. Syed, Nora, do you feel that way as well? And have your firms also prepared for regulation? Because that could be the single biggest shift in the industry if it does happen.
Well, I do believe it will. But at the Fivers, we already deal with our traders as a regulated firms. So we already have our rules, and all of our traders already aware about them. And this is very important because once regulation will be applied for all the firms, it will be also the way to give the ones that they've got the regulated, or they are dealing with their traders in a regulated way, the credit, first of all. And another thing, for those firms, like they are just having I don't want to say shortcuts or any kind of just to multiply, like things here on the stage, but it's going to be a good filter for a lot of firms, encouraging the ones that they are here for the traders and doing everything for them, providing them with all the rules, with all the development tools. It's going to be a good thing, and this is why I'm looking for it, to be honest. And this is why also the fibers having all of this structure about our system.
So Syed, how do you see the prop industry in the next 3 to 5 years, including possibly regulation? I love how mindful you are about your responses.
3 to 5 years, I see there's going to be props, especially us, we're going to be multi-asset. We have already started it. In FundedNext, we have a motto and we have a quote. For every trader, every market, which means we want to have our product line vertically integrated and we want to have market leading position in each of the asset classes. So I see 3 to 5 years down the line, many other prop firms may go into this direction of introducing multi-asset line. You have already seen like CFDs are also launching futures as well. And you're going to see like props are also getting into, just like you see right now is like many CFD brokers are also getting into prop. You're seeing vice versa as well. So FundedNext launched FN markets 6 to 7 months back, and we are getting huge response. And I think, I think prop will be evolved to a much more complete product, and it's just the beginning. And in terms of the regulation, I feel there is a fundamental code difference for regulation in brokerage and CFD, because in brokerage or any PS, in brokerage or any wallet, you're actually taking client's deposit. But in prop, you are essentially selling an assessment, so you're not directly handling any client deposit. So there is one fundamental difference out there. But then again, if the regulators decide to regulate, we are in a position and we have prepared ourselves in a position to be a gold standard. Because when regulators get into a new market, when they try to think about Uber, Airbnb, when they try to regulate Airbnb or Uber, they actually partnered up with companies in order to understand better and design regulation. So obviously if regulator plans, they will be partnering up with companies, and we are prepared to be that gold standard of a company. If regulators want to come and partner up, we want to be partners with them, and we would love to design the best possible compliance that is out there.
Fantastic. I don't know if we have time for questions. Do we have time for questions? Does anyone in the audience have any questions for our panel? I think what you've seen here is just we were in a conference last year, but this is just in many ways still the beginning of the prop industry. And there's so much potential. There's so much opportunity for growth, not only regionally, but asset class wise and opportunity, that we're going to hear so much more about prop trading over the next few years, led by firms. These are the gold standards firms here, and they'll be kind of setting the stage for the transformation in the industry going forward. So I want to thank you, my esteemed panel here, for joining me today, and thank you all for listening to the panel.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you so much. Thank you.